Hey everybody, good morning, good morning. Work up to the word. I wanted to have a um okay, they said the Sabbath. Jesus reminded the disciples before he knew that he was had to be die. He said, remember the Sabbath. And the Sabbath, God made he came down and made seeing that the part of the world was underwater. That part that he was making the Garden of Eden in, it was underwater. If you notice the world, you view the world, and you'll see they had many lakes, they had many oceans. So God had took this one particular area of the earth, and He made the Garden of Eden. It was underwater. He took it from underwater. Then it was a dark area. In some parts of the world, you'll see that it's very dark. So God made light. Now you got to remember, God cast this Satan, Lucifer, out of heaven. Heaven was where the light was, and you had to know that the earth was very dark. He cast them into a dark area, you know. So when God feels though it was time for heaven to be on earth, He created heaven on earth. He was creating life on earth. Okay. And what he did was he went into a certain part, right? And he created light. Because you got to realize the devil was operating in the dark. That's why he said, out of the darkness into the light. You know, the devil and his followers was in the dark. You know, they was ruling and regulating in the dark, you know. So that's why they say the devil is always amongst you. Okay, now, the Sabbath, he worked 6 days. He rested on the seventh. So he called it the Sabbath. Okay, so a lot of people is naming the Sabbath the Jewish Sabbath. How can it be the Jewish Sabbath if there was not a people yet for him to put in the Sabbath? But he made the Sabbath for a holy day, time for holiness and rest, right? And now today they saying the Sabbath is dedicated to the Jews, but the Sabbath was never dedicated to a certain group of people. The Sabbath was a day of rest and peace, you know. Because God said, I know you for your work. So God knew his work was completed. So the Sabbath is the seventh day, which meaning completion. He completed his work for the week, you know, and he rested. So God gave a grace period of man to rest, you know. But they sit there and say the Sabbath is for the Jews or the whatever. And it's not, you know. God did not name the Sabbath after anyone. Okay? He just did it for completion. You know, completion of your work that you have completed. And Jesus reminded, when God was building the churches through Jesus Christ, the God in Christ churches, and the Christ churches, the Christianity churches, he told them after everything was done, and it had to been the gathering of the upper room, and just imagine how he had to remind them. He said, and remember the Sabbath day. Remember the Sabbath. Keep it holy. So he's remembering what God said at the beginning. He repeated it. So that's how you knew that God was with Christ, and God spoke to him and told them and to remind them, just like he did Moses. Moses said, you are under covenant, you know. So the covenant was Jesus Christ, because Moses was the one that God has chosen to lead the people to freedom. Jesus was the one who was chosen to lead the people out of death. Because just imagine how God could have sent a storm And now if he took the waters away and made it dry land, he could rise the water and make it wet land. So God delivered the people from death, through Jesus Christ. So that's why everything you do have to come through Jesus Christ, knowing him, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. And he told the disciples, he said, there's nothing that my Father would not give you if you ask in my name. So that right there already telling you that God has crowned him ruler of all nations, not just one, but all, So that lets you know that he has power and dominion, and God operate through him, because whatever he says, that goes, So a lot of people, I don't understand, I'm trying to continue teaching, even though I don't have a building yet to teach, but this is my building right here, this right here. Because he said he knows what's in every heart of man. If God can come and visit me, and Jesus could come and pour his spirit in me and check my temple out to see if what's in my heart and my desires to teach, then he's going to give it to me. He's going to deliver it. So he's a deliverer. So he delivered the word, So he delivered it to me. I bring it into you, bring it to you. It's like a delivery truck. You pack the delivery truck of some goods, and then you bring it into a storehouse. He said, bring all into the storehouse, right? So either which way, how like technology or any type of way that I can bring the information into a storehouse, meaning that someone to receive it. You got to have someone to receive it, right? So that's just like a package come and someone receive a package. And that means that God has delivered something to you. And, someone delivered something to you that they wanted you to have. And then it arrived to the right address, But they got it where that people will say something, do this and do that. And they'll take the package and it won't belong. It's like a lost package. You know what I'm saying? They're delivered to the wrong address. And they know they delivered it to the wrong address. So what God really... he said lead and guide, right? So will God really lead a delivery person that's supposed to deliver something to the wrong address? And when you know that these type of things is going on in the churches, when you know that these type of things is going on in the churches, you have to know that that's the plans of the devil. That's Satan. That don't have anything to do with God. They using God as a crutch to do their sins through his name, because anybody can use your name and do sin. That's why it's called theft, identity theft. So they're doing the same thing with God. It says identity theft. It's the same thing. If they can do that to God's name, just imagine they could do it with your name. So it's sad, but and that's why you got so much pain in the world. You know what I'm saying? Because people is not opening up their eyes, and they sleeping all the time, and they not opening up their eyes to really see why there's so much pain in the world. And that's why it's a lot of pain in the world, So yeah. But I wanted to come on and share that with you for the, for the day. Okay, y'all. See y'all later. Stay nice.